After a years-long legal battle, appeal court unanimously discharges leader of a proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI KANU, describing his rearrest as an abduction and a flagrant violation of international treaties. And the plot thickens in the People's Democratic Party. Governor Wike vows never to accept what he describes as northern dominance as the party raises yet another high-level delegation to placate him and other members of the G5. Hello and welcome to the nation's flagship political show. I'm Kayode Okikulu, right here in Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. Now, every day comes with its own intrigue in Nigeria's political space, and today lived up to that billing as it saw a major twist to a case that has lasted, 7 years, traversing different countries, even different continents. Well, earlier on, a three-man panel of the Court of Appeal, just moments ago actually, discharged the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI KANU, on the ground that the Federal High Court lacks the jurisdiction to try him in view of his abduction and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria in flagrant violation of the OAU Convention and Protocol on Extradition. The lead judgment, delivered by Justice Oludotun Adefope-Okoje, held that the 15-count charge preferred against KANU did not disclose the place, date, time, and nature of the alleged offenses before being unlawfully extradited to Nigeria in clear violation of international treaties. The court further described the act of abduction and extraordinary rendition of Mr. KANU, apparently from Kenya, without due process as a violation of his right. The court also held and said that the manner in which Mr. KANU was procured and brought before the court was not evaluated by the lower court before assuming jurisdiction to try him, and the lower court having failed to address the preliminary objection challenging its jurisdiction, particularly the issue of abduction and extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria. The lower court failed to take cognizance of the fact that a warrant of arrest can only be executed anywhere within Nigeria. Now, it was a unanimous decision, by the way. So let's bring you a quick background to Mr. KANU's trials. He was arrested in October 2015 in Lagos, Nigeria, by the DSS. Now, there were controversies about his detention, his bail afterwards, while the case dragged on in court, with his absence stalling the case. Well, 2 years after, he was granted bail on health grounds in 2007, and he disappeared from public view after September 2017 when his home was raided. Now, also that year, the IPOB was proscribed and designated a terrorist organization by the Nigerian government. Now, fast forward to the next year. In October 2018, pictures surfaced that showed him in Israel. Now, these pictures were everywhere online, while the case against him in Nigeria was pending. Now, his sojourn outside the country lasted till June last year, when he was said to have been arrested in Kenya, apparently, and extradited back to Nigeria. His trial then began in October 2021 on charges of terrorism, treason, and involvement with a banned separatist movement. Now, in January this year, 2022, an Abia State High Court ruled his arrest as unlawful and an infringement on human rights. Now, his arrest and subsequent trial have sparked protests and violence in majorly southern eastern region of Nigeria. So that gives you a picture of how we got here, 7 years. And this is a major pronouncement by the court and, of course, a developing story as well. So stay with us for the unfoldings on that major one. But away from that, we're staying in the courts and more discharging, and this time a federal high court sitting in Dutse, Jigawa State, today discharged and acquitted Senator Saminu Tureki of the 8.3 billion naira corruption charges preferred against him by the EFCC. He and 3 other companies had been standing trial since May the 4th, 2007, in a suit filed by the EFCC on 33 counts. Well, the former governor was arraigned by the EFCC before Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal Capital Territory High Court on July the 13th, 2007. So quite a busy day at the courts, but there are other stories trending. So let's bring you the other political stories, the big ones. Here's your political roundup.
The All Progressives Congress has debunked claims of alleged pressure on the Independent National Electoral Commission to deactivate the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS), in addition to mobilizing for the sacking of the chairman of the commission. Fielding questions from journalists in Abuja after a tripartite meeting of the National Working Committee of the party, governors under the platform of the party, and the Presidential Campaign Council, the chief spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Festus Kayamo, says the allegations are unfounded. The spokesperson also announced that the meeting, which was held behind closed doors, deliberated on the party's manifesto and proposed commencement date for its presidential campaigns.
Those who are sensing defeat are already looking for reasons for that defeat. But I can tell you that it is one of the reasons, it is one of the excuses they are trying to generate to, accommodate their defeat.
Supporters of the Labour Party in Imo State, led by a chieftain of the party, Tobechukwu Ehirim, have organized a solidarity rally to sensitize the public on the need to support the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and his running mate Yusuf Datti. The supporters in their numbers carried Labour Party banners walking the streets of Owerri, the Imo State capital, down to the Labour Party office, where they converged to discuss strategies to be put in place to ensure the victory of the party in the forthcoming elections. According to them, Peter Obi remains the best candidate to deliver Nigeria from the present economic and political quagmire. The rally ended with a donation of a new campaign bus by a chieftain of the party.
What I'm telling Nigerians is that don't listen to the lies. Don't listen to the name dropping. Don't believe that when they tell you it's impossible. It's a gimmick to discourage you and chase you away.
Political figures across party lines, social crusaders, and others have been extolling the virtues of the outgoing governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, as he observes his valedictory activities. They describe him as a successful leader. According to them, Dr. Fayemi has displayed ingenuity in handling the affairs of the state. In his response, Governor Fayemi advocates that more social activists need to find their ways to the seat of power.
We must draw in many more from the best among us, from all walks of life, in order to undertake the urgent task of retrieving our country from the multiple crises.
Rivers State Governor Wike has vowed never to accept the current structure of the People's Democratic Party, in which the party's national chairman, presidential candidate, and director general of the presidential campaign are all from the northern part of the country. He says no one can convince him to drop his advocacy for internal democracy in the party. Governor Wike stated this while hosting PDP candidate and local government party chairman from Cross River State at his residence in Port Harcourt, where he donated 25 buses to support their campaigns.
In a party like PDP, that the votes have come from the south, and you say president candidate should be south, north, chairman should be north, DG should be north, because you want to be loyal to which party?
Labour Party Vice Presidential candidate Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed is in Borno State to consult with stakeholders of the party ahead of the elections. Addressing journalists, Mr. Datti says part of his visit is to check the voting pattern in 15 states in the north and strategize on how the party will get more votes in the north. Mr. Datti was accompanied by the Director General of the Obi Datti Presidential Campaign, Audu Mohammed.
The tsunami is across the 6 geopolitical zones. And I dare to tell you this because I have been to Sokoto, seat of the Caliphate. I know what I have seen from the youth.
And as the political landscape begins to take shape across the country, the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has received hundreds of decampees from the opposition party, the APC, ADC, ZLP, and other political parties into the fold of the PDP. The ceremony, which took place at the Lekon Salami Stadium, Ibadan, had in attendance all the political bigwigs from PDP in Oyo State. In his brief address, Governor Seyi Makinde told all present that the influx of people from other parties into the PDP is a testament of the affection of people in Oyo State to the ruling PDP.
There is nothing more than loyalty and the fact that I stood by my people. Just a reward for my dedication to them.
Now you're well acquainted. Tonight, we bring you the case of a political party that has been out of power at the center for, well, almost 8 years now. And that's after 16 years of undefeated reign. It was always going to be a job of work for that party, or indeed any party really, to convince majority of Nigerians to trust them But the case of the People's Democratic Party seems to have been complicated the more with the in-house issues which it is battling with today. 5 governors out of its campaign as they continue to call for the removal of the national chairman for the sake of equity and internal democracy, they say. And it reached a new high with Governor Wike's latest vow. You may have heard that. He said that earlier on, saying that he will not allow northern domination and calling for internal democracy within the party. Well, the party was meant to hold its campaign in Kebbi yesterday and Zamfara today, but clearly that is not happening. So it's a lot really going on in the People's Democratic Party today. So let's speak with our guests on the program tonight. They are members of the PDP. They understand the workings and perhaps give you an insight. What's going on? How close is the party to finding peace or otherwise? We're joined on the program tonight by Mr. Reno Mokri, who is a former presidential spokesman and a member, of course, of the People's Democratic Party, joining us virtually, as well as Mr. Mohammed Jamo, also a member of the PDP. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Politics Today tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let me begin with you, Mr. Right. Let me begin with Mr. Mokri. According to your party's campaign timetable, I'm looking at it now, you were meant to be in Kebbi yesterday. You were also meant to be in Zamfara today. But ever since that flag off on Monday, the party has been quiet regarding the rally. So why did your party, the candidate, suspend this campaign rally?
Well, he's got his spokesman, and his spokesman are going to speak on that. But it has nothing to do with what you talked about earlier, the 5 governors or any kind of internal crisis within the party. The story emanated from the nation, and if you know the nation, the ownership of the nation, then you'll understand why that is. I mean, it's commonsensical if you look at it. You know, if we are going to suspend anything because of the governors, then it would have been the flag off in the South, which is very close to River State. And if we did not suspend that, then how can you say that we're suspending the ones in Zamfara and Kebbi because of that? No, it's just a figment of the imagination of that newspaper. It's nothing like that.
You were meant to hold a rally in Kebbi State yesterday, am I right?
Yes.
You were meant to hold in Zamfara today, am I right?
Yes.
But did they hold?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry? Did your campaign hold in Zamfara and Kebbi?
It did not hold. And like I told you, I said the presidential candidate of the party has spokesmen, and they will speak on that. Now,
oh, no, it's because you said, pardon me, it's because you said it wasn't suspended, and the definition of suspension is clear, to hold something that was perhaps scheduled to happen.
No, that's not what I said. Perhaps maybe there's a communication glitch. I didn't say this. I said, and I'm going to repeat what I said. I said that what happened in Kebbi and Zamfara is not as a result of what you said earlier, that there was some crisis within the party, of which 5 governors were in disagreement with some internal issues within the party. I said it had nothing to do with that. I said if there was going to be any suspension at all, it would have been the rally at Akwa Ibom, which is in the south, which is almost right next to River State. And that if we didn't suspend that, then why would we suspend Kebbi and Zamfara because of that issue? Now, if you ask me, I mean, the presidential candidate of the party is currently, I believe, in Kaduna. He had to go to Kaduna for something that came up. And I said that his own spokesman will talk about that, but that the suspension of the rally, or I wouldn't even say suspension, the postponement of the rallies has nothing to do with what you talked about, the so-called issues with the 5 governors, or with any issue of internal equity, as you put it, in the party. That's what I said.
Just to be clear, for English sakes, suspend, postpone, really, hold off, they mean the same thing, and I think it's just semantics, at least for our viewers to understand. But you've called yourself time and again a friend of Atiku. Your support for him is very well known on and off social media. So you said that it's not because of the internal issues, internal democracy issues. So are you saying then that your candidate, the presidential candidate of the PDP, can go the whole hog without these governors?
Oh, well, listen, we have to face realities. We have a situation in our party where some people feel that maybe they're not having their way, and then it's leading to some issues. But if you go down memory lane, the PDP was formed on the 31st of August 1998 by 9 gentlemen: Dr. Yocha Ayu, Albaka Rimi, Alex Ekweme, Jerry Kana, Bola Ige, Senator Francis Ella, and Sule Lamido, and one other. And eventually, that group of 9 became a group of 18, and then group of 34, and then that group of 34 was registered by INEC and became the PDP. Now, if you recall, when the candidate went to Oyo State September 14, and Governor Sheyi Makinde raised this issue up with him, he said, listen, we've got to stick with our party constitution, procedure, rules, and traditions. 4 things: constitution, rules, procedure, and traditions. And the traditions of the PDP is that when you have an elected president, whatever roles in the party that were held by the region where that president comes from will revert to the other region. So for instance, if you have an elected president from the north, and then the chairman is from the north, as soon as he's elected, then the chairmanship will have to go to the other region. That's the constitution, the rule, the procedure, and the tradition of the party. But until a president is elected, then that is not in force. So when you're talking about internal democracy, democracy means that you follow the rules, the constitution, the procedures, and the tradition of the party. The chairman that we have right now, Iyocha Ayu, was democratically elected. Some of the people, in fact, interestingly enough, some of the people...
Mr. Mokri, pardon me.
Yeah.
Just, directly to that question, so I can bring in our other guests so we can have this back and forth and make it robust. Can your candidate go the whole hog without these governors?
Our candidate will do what he has to do to win the election. So that's all I'm willing to say about that. He's made an effort, and he's going to continue making an effort to bring everybody on board. And
or without the governors, right?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to talk about the hypothetical situation. You want me to do, it's very nice, it's good for ratings. What I'll tell you is that our candidate will do whatever it has to do to win this election.
Right. It's just important to lay the issues bare because Nigerians are listening. It is not for ratings, just to be honest. Let us know what's going on because Nigerians are watching and they're reading even the unspoken words. But let's bring in Mr. Jamo so we can have this, robust conversation. And for Mr. Mokri, he says this has to do essentially with the constitution of the party, the procedure, the rules and tradition. So this, for him and for his candidate, essentially is beyond simply calling for the removal of Mr. Ayu. It has to go through that process, and that has not happened yet. Is that enough reason for you, or at least for the Wike camp, the G5, to say, okay, maybe this makes sense. Let's come back to the council and move on?
Thank you so much. This issue, we have been going back and forth on it, and I've spoken so many times, and even the Wike group have spoken so many times. What they have been saying as party members who feel they need to give their all and contribute to the successes of the party at the general polls, all they have been saying is that there should be equity, fairness, and justice. And in that call for equity, justice, and fairness, that is where the request for Mr. Iyocha Ayu to step down so that the southern part of the country can feel carried along in the distribution of offices of the party at this time. Let me tell you one thing. I have said this so many times, and I'm going to say it again. We are having challenges within the party. And the challenges that we're having within this party are challenges that have to do more with incapacity of managing crisis. Because this is a very simple issue that we could have managed long ago. And the party can even invoke the doctrine of necessity so that we can be able to have a new lease of life, so that we can be able to move on and the campaigns can move on with everybody carried along. The presidential candidate is from the northern part of the country. Everybody has agreed it was an election that everybody stood was part of the election and he emerged. And everybody wants to work for this presidential candidate. But there are causes that are even beyond these 5 governors or other people that are speaking. People are saying, let us have fairness and equity. And the only way the people from the southern part of this country can feel well carried along within this party is if they can at least have the chairman of the party. Let me give it to you this way. The northern part of the country, we are having President Muhammadu Buhari now as the president, and he's about to exit after his 8 years. Whatever political party he belongs, he is from the northern part of the country. And then there is this clamor from the southern part of the country that power should shift to the southern part of the country. And this clamor was gaining momentum. But at a particular point, the party which everybody believes is the party that can give them hope, suddenly another northern presidential candidate emerged. And then these party members from the southern part of the country said, okay, we are fine, we are okay with this, let it fly. But if we want this thing to fly, just give the national chairman to the southern part of the country. And once you give the southern part of the country the national chairmanship of the party, people will understand and this ACOS will go down.
Right.
So when you talk about constitutional ways to resolve these issues, I can tell you we have had issues during the saga of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and President Jonathan, whereby even the office of the president, where we don't even have it in the constitution, but we invoked the doctrine of necessity.
So
and
essentially,
made President Jonathan to emerge.
Mr. Jamo, what you're saying essentially is that
the Constitution actually has a way to resolve this by the way of doctrine of necessity. So it is within the constitutional framework of your party to actually allow the chairman step down.
Look, let me tell you, the chairman being part of the G18 that formed the People's Democratic Party, at a time like this where there are agitations and people are having a problem and there is a serious division, the party is having 11 governors, 5 governors have gone this way, 6 governors have gone the other way. And let me even tell you, even within the 6 governors that went the other way, about 3 of them keep saying underground to the other 5 governors that, look, oh, we are together with you in all these things that you are doing. So let me tell you one thing. What the party needs to do now, what the national chairman needs to do now, is to give peace a chance. We want to form a government, and once this government is formed, he can be appointed in any other capacity within the government. He can just willingly step aside and say, at least let me give peace a chance so that we can be able to move this party forward. It's a very simple issue.
Well,
I don't see any reason why.
Right, pardon me. Let me bring this back to Mr. Mokri in a moment. But just to be clear, Mr. Jamo, you're saying that 3 governors in the APC that had moved to the APC are actually telling governors within your party that they're with them on this.
No, I'm not talking about APC. I said within the PDP, we have been saying 5 governors have gone this way, saying the national chairman should go to the south, while 6 other governors are on this other side of the divide. So I'm saying even within the 6 governors, some of them are even supporting this on the ground, that the national chairman should go to the southern part of the country. Okay. I'm talking within the context and framework of the People's Democratic Party.
All right. So, Mr. Mokri, I mean, Mr. Jamo believes that even the Constitution you talk about allows for this. There is always a way, as politicians would say. Your candidate has been described time and again as the unifier. And, I mean, you can speak for him to a large extent based on your positioning with him. Would you say, or do you think that he has done absolutely all he can to unify your party, to bring the aggrieved parties together and essentially give peace a chance, as they say?
Well, he's done all he can, and he's still doing it. I mean, Mr. Jagmew mentioned the Constitution. Now, you see, he said something, just give, and I'm quoting him, just give the chairmanship to the South. It doesn't operate that way. You don't give the chairmanship of a party to somebody. It's a democratically elected position. So you don't give it. You have to get that position by being elected. And it's by going ad hoc that you get into problems. Now, he mentioned the doctrine of necessity. In case, well, I mean, I don't know if he's aware of it, but the doctrine of necessity was something where Yar'Adua had left the country, and then he had not transmitted power to then acting President Jonathan. So what happened? That the doctrine of necessity itself was that they said Yar'Adua had given an interview to the BBC, and then they took that interview as an example of a transmission of power. So that's the doctrine of necessity there. So even that doctrine of necessity is following the Constitution. So if we're going to do anything within the PDP, it has to be done constitutionally. You cannot just take the chairmanship of a party and then give it to somebody. I mean, it's like you are running the party according to the whims and caprices of an individual. And this is what Alhaji Waziri Atiku Abubakar said on September 14. Look, he told Governor Seyi Makinde that if you can get the chairmanship of the party following the constitution, the rules, the procedures and traditions of the PDP, I will support you. But I'm not going to go extra constitutionally. I'm not going to go outside of the constitution, outside of the rules, outside of the procedure to do it. So that's what we're saying. We need to follow the constitution. We need to follow our rules. And we show to the rest of Nigeria that we are an orderly party. We are ready to take the reins of power from the APC. But if we do things in an ad hoc manner, I mean, bowing to the whims and caprices of men rather than the Constitution. You have to understand, the Constitution is our fountain of origin. So when we are in a dark place, it is the lighthouse that guides our ship to land. Doing anything extra constitutional or outside of the Constitution is what is going to wreck our party. And our party is not going to be wrecked.
You know what they say about the Constitution being like the framework for democracy, ensuring that there's rule of law, there is justice, and that word has been used a lot, equity, fairness. And Governor Wike was ruling out the list of, major, people in your party. He talked about the presidential candidate from the north. That's a fact. The chairman of the party from the north, that's also a fact. The DG of the campaign from the north, that's also a fact. So there's a constitution, but the question there will be, what is the use of a constitution if some within the party, a lot of them, by the way, still feel hard done by with the current structure? Then what's the use of a constitution if you cannot ensure justice for them, as they say?
But the Constitution ensures justice. You just talked about some positions. Now I'm going to give you another history of the party. When Umar Musa Yar'Adua was running for president, he was from the north. The chairman of the party, Ahmadu Ali, was also from the north. The DG of the campaign was also from the north. Now, that was when he was the candidate of the party for the position of president. As soon as he won, all those positions that were held by the north reverted to the south because he was then elected. There's a constitutional provision in our party that protects and gives equity and justice to every region. It says that when a president has been elected, whatever positions that were held in the party from his zone will now revert to the other zone. So we are putting the cart before the horse. Now, this man is a candidate. He is not a president. The Constitution is very clear. If he is elected, and we believe he's going to be elected on February 25, 2023, the chairmanship of the party will automatically revert to the South. Right. So there's nothing to worry about. The Constitution of our party has inbuilt mechanisms to ensure justice and equity.
Well, Mr. Jamo, for Mr. Mokri, this is not new. It's happened before, and your constitution fully supports it. So, for those clamoring, the G5 and other allies, even some governors, according to you, from within those who are now allied with the campaign, what is different this time around, really, Mr. Jamo? Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Jamo. I understand that your connection is a bit shaky, so we'll come back to you. But Mr. Mokri, so you clearly have not said you do not need these governors. And I know you were very careful, so trying to leave all the options open. But what is the bargaining chip then for your candidate and the leadership of the party? What then are you bringing to the table to ensure that these aggrieved members come back on board?
Well, the candidate of the party has bent over backward. He has met with the leader of this group of five, Governor Ezenwo Wike. He's met with him severally. A lot of that time, he's met with him publicly. He's met with other members individually. He's done his best to accommodate them. When he was putting his PCC together, he wanted them to bring in names. And I'm sure you saw in the media, some of them said, look, we're not going to participate, we're not going to bring in names. The thing is, there was a contest. Somebody won the presidential primaries. And there's nothing you can do to change that history. No matter how bad you feel about it, it's happened. So you've got to learn to accept this. Now, the candidate of the party, I know him personally, he's willing to do all that he can, but he cannot rewrite history. There was a democratic election and he won. And so if people feel bad about that, they have to work within the constitutional frameworks of the party. There are inbuilt mechanisms. If this man is elected, and we believe he's going to be elected, the South is going to be protected by our own constitution, not just the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our own constitution protects the South. The chairmanship of the party will revert to the South. And then we've seen it before. I'm going to go down history. The first chairman of the party was Dr. Alex Ekweme. And then it moved to the north. We had Chief Solomon La. And then Chief Solomon La held that position. And then when the presidency of the country moved to the north in the person of Umar Musa Yar'Adua, then the chairmanship of the party moved to the south and then went to Chief Vincent Ogulapo.
Okay, Mr. Mokri, pardon me, I'll have to hold you there, pardon me, because we have Mr. Jamo back, so we can also get his thoughts on some of the points you raised earlier. So, Mr. Jamo, good to have you back. Earlier on, he said that this is not new. This has happened before, and he was, quite particular about the statements made by the national chairman saying, well, when this happens, although that has been refuted time and again. So what is different this time around? What are the grave dangers ahead for your party if you continue this way?
Well, nobody wants this to continue this way. Nobody wants this to continue this way. I can tell you this, and I can tell you if you can dig deeper and you can talk to anybody within this political party. Everybody joins this political party because we all believe it is a vehicle for success, and it is a party that has done so much for the country in the past. And we believe it is a party for this moment. It is a party that can be able to take Nigeria to the promised land. So nobody wants this party to go down at this particular time. But what we are saying, it is a big family, and it is a family disagreement. And I feel as a family, we will one day find a way that we can have a solution to all this that are happening. But the reality of the matter, I am telling you this, and I have to tell you this directly, that what is happening now, if we do not sit down and find a solution at this critical juncture, the party is going to suffer a lot at the polls. But the only way out, since we have been clamoring that Mr. Iyorchia Ayu needs to step down, the only option before the party now is for the party to sit down and critically look at this issue. It does not take anything away from the party if we have a change of the national chairman at this particular time. And I support it, and I urge the leadership of the party and every leader of this party within this country to look at this, because if we don't do this now, we will be the ones that will suffer the brunt at the end of the day.
Well, Mr. Jamo, this that has been described as a potential northern domination, I just want to be sure, for your constituents, for your people, is it a hard sell, just to present your party and they look at the structure, candidate, chairman, the DG, and they say, okay, it's tilted to one side. Is it really a hard sell for your party on the basics? Because it looks like others have looked at it and thought, it's not a big deal, we can sail through. Is your party going to be a hard sell as a result of this?
Well, as a Nigerian, I want to one day wake up and see a Nigeria whereby we all see ourselves as equal and we don't discriminate and whatever, be that as it may. But at this particular time, we are at a situation whereby the country is deeply divided along ethnic and religious lines. And with that very big division, definitely all these things are issues that matters at this particular time. So what I can say, it really matters. Last time I was on channels, I made a mention that we are having a challenge because as a party, we had very major people within this party that we lost, losing Mr. Peter Obi, and everybody knows the momentum Mr. Peter Obi is gaining at the southern part of the country. So at this time, we don't want a situation whereby people who are, especially from the southern part of the country, will be looking at the party the same way they are looking at APC with the Muslim. We are having a party which is supposed to be the next option, and the southern part of the country is just seeing it as a party which is having the northern Sims, having the presidential candidate, having the DG, and having the national chairman of the party, all coming from this same zone. It doesn't say well about equity, fairness, and justice.
Right. Mr. Mokri, let me come back to you now. I mean, with those points you were making earlier, I mean, let's paint that picture of the reality in your party now. So as it stands, your party does not have its governor from the Southwest, Governor Seyi Makinde. You've lost, at least as things stand now, 2 governors from the Southeast, the governors you have. You have the South governor as well, Governor Wike, who, by the way, looks like he has annexed Cross River. I mean, you saw the candidates visiting him just recently. And then you have Governor Tom as well, who are not in the fray. I mean, this is your party that seems to be struggling with the balance of governors in Nigeria, and you have 5 taken out of that whole equation. They say politics is give and take, some sort of bargaining. And I asked earlier, what is the bargaining chip? What is the leadership of your party, your candidate, willing to give specifically now?
Okay, well, just to correct a misconception that you just made, this Governor Seyi Makinde has said his candidate is Atiku Abubakar. He's still in the party.
But he was not at the campaign, was he?
No, he was not at the campaign, but what he has said. So we're going by what he said. We believe he's a man of honor.
Well,
so
he has also said that he wants the chairman to. He made it categorically clear, and he was not at that council. I mean, surely, Mr. Mokri, you understand what that means.
But you have to allow me to respond to your question.
Please go ahead.
Keep interjecting. I'm not going to be able to make my point. He said that his candidate is Waziri Atiku Abubakar. He said so. The same thing was said by Ipeazu. The same thing was said by Autumn. I can give you the dates when they said that. So we're gonna keep making every effort. But I need to point this out. You know, this is not an issue just for the PDP. If you look at Mr. Jamiu mentioned the Peter Obi and the Labour Party. Now let's look at the Labour Party. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party is from the Southeast. The DG of the Labour Party is from the Southwest. The chairman of the Labour Party is from the South-South. Nobody is raising all those issues about the Labour Party. If you come to the ruling party, the APC, the president is from the North. The DG of the chairman of the party is also from the North. Now, we are yet to see their DG, but we are hearing it's going to be a Northerner. Now, if you go also to the NNPP, it's the same thing. Candidate from the North, chairman from the North, DG from the North. But it is only the PDP that has a constitutional provision that once the candidate is elected, all these positions that are held by the North must mandatorily go over to the other region. These other parties, they don't have it. So all this saying that, okay, there's fear of domination, look, the PDP constitution provides a framework whereby nobody needs to be afraid. If you are the Labour Party, you can be afraid of southern domination. If you are the NNPP, you can be afraid of northern domination. If you are in the APC, you already see northern domination. But the PDP constitution already provides that there cannot be domination of one region over the other. And then in terms of bargaining chips, listen, there's nothing, it's just like...
Because of our time, Mr. Mokri, pardon me, because of time, we're winding down very soon. I mean, I was hoping that this would be about your party, the PDP. And my question was basically, what is your candidate and the leadership offering, the bargaining chip? And it looks like it's been very tricky to get that answer from you. Is your candidate, your party, leadership offering anything, really, anything more?
Well, that's what I told you, initially, but maybe you didn't hear me. When the candidate was putting together his PCC, that is the Presidential Campaign Council list, he offered these 5 governors, bring in names, and I'll put them. And then, well, you saw what happened. I don't even need to repeat that. So you can only, it's just like what the late Chief MK Abiola used to say, you can only clap with 2 hands. You can't clap with 1 hand. You can't clap with 1 hand. You need 2 hands. For you to have a dialogue, you've got to have 2 people speaking. If not, you're going to have a conversation of the deaf. Our candidate is willing to go and bend over backward. However, his hands are tied by the Constitution, procedures, rules, and traditions of the party. And he has said that he's going to be a president for a rule of law. And what is he going to be telling Nigerians if he goes outside the rule of law in his own party to please individual interests rather than staying by what the Constitution says?
All right. Well, it's been quite an interesting conversation, but we have to anchor at this point, really. It's been quite enlightening speaking with you, gentlemen. I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Reno Mokri, who's a former presidential spokesman, also a member of the People's Democratic Party, calls himself a friend of Atiku, as well as Mr. Mohammed Jamo, a member of the PDP as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time on the program tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Well, a quick break, everyone. When we come back, the campaign council of the Labour Party has been generating a lot of controversy. Will they be able to marshal at least 15 million votes for the candidate at this rate? Well, a coordinator in the team, Mr. Akiyoshi Tokun, joins us next on the program. Stay with us.
My name is Austin Azuko Kocha, but you all call me JJ. That's because I was so unstoppable, they named me twice. During my days as a professional footballer, I played as an attacking midfielder. When I was a kid growing up in the cold city of Enugu, I had just one dream, and that was to be an unstoppable professional footballer with titles and records to my name. Yes, I went ahead to win titles in Europe and Africa during my playing days. Those days, there were times when it was difficult for me to perform due to injuries or when it seemed that I was out of form. But you know what? I never stayed down. I remained unstoppable. In fact, I always came back better, dribbling in an unstoppable way, assisting goals and scoring goals. No one could stop me, not even malaria, when mosquito bites. Now you too can be unstoppable if you use Lonat against malaria.
Lonat, a combination of Artemether and lumefantrine. Lonat, be unstoppable.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
To our breaking story this hour.
Then to the Situation Room. Gentlemen, let's get to it. We know just how important it is to give you well-informed conversations with those making the news.
There's nothing like regional security. I have a lot in mind. I know too much. The police do not believe that you have any right once you are in the police station.
Sunrise Daily, every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on Channels Television.
Well, welcome back to the program. Now, after months of waiting and anticipation, the Labour Party finally released its campaign list yesterday. Or do I say lists? There were two, actually. One is a campaign council list with 1,234 members, and the other, a management team with 36 positions. But that release, or those releases, as the case may be, has been trailed by some controversy, and we'll be getting into the mind of the party to understand what's at play here and its chances with that list. We're joined in our Lagos studio by Mr. Akin Oshintokun, who is a coordinator Southwest of Labour Party Presidential Campaign Management Team. Am I right?
Well, you know, it's a matter of semantics. The team, management team, campaign council is the same.
Right, because the list you're on has management team clearly written on it, and then the other one is clearly stated as council. But what's the difference, really? What's
I don't exactly. That's, well, at that level, I mean, I suppose that at that level, zonal coordinators and the director general and his immediate assistants, of course, will meet regularly, you know, to review the momentum, the campaign, and then give. I think the distinction may lie where that look. The gap between the management team and the delivery on ground. I mean, of course, the DG, for instance, or even myself, will not perform the role of a local government coordinator or a state coordinator. So we are going to have foots on ground. But as I said, I think it's semantics. I mean, the idea is to get the work done. I mean, look, I'm the coordinator of the Southwest. Right. If there's a problem in any local government in the Southwest and I can fix it, of course I'll go straight and fix it. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Right. You know what they say, teamwork makes the team work. Yes, the work needs to be done, but there's the questions of coordination, cohesion, ensure the command and control, everything works well. How much of a consultation really went into that list before it was released?
Look, I wouldn't know. I mean, I myself, you asked to ask the DG and I'm not competent to speak, on how the list was compiled. I'm not, I think the candidate himself probably and the DG will be the right person to speak on it. But what is it that's prompted that question from you? What is it that prompted it?
The question about what sort of consultation.
How the list came about.
Well, let us know then, if you say that that should be for the candidate to answer. Were you surprised when you saw your name on that list?
Well, I'm not surprised at all.
So you were consulted?
Oh, yes. The last time I was there, I came in the capacity of the role that I'm playing now, right? So there's no question of me being surprised.
So to that extent, you will say that there was consultation as much as it should have been?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
There goes the answer to my question then. There have been concerns, really, about the composition of this list, and I'll reel some of them out for you so you can speak to it. A lot of them on and off social media, and I'm sure you're aware of some of them. Now, one of the concerns raised is that 75%, that's 25 out of the 33 members on that management list which you're on, are from the southern extraction. And this, I'm sure you've been following the conversation.
75% are from
southern extraction. So your list has 36 numbers, but then there are 33 names, because 3 of them were omitted. And a lot of people are wondering, was that deliberate for a party that says, we've come to unite Nigeria? Was that deliberate?
Please. I hope you get your statistics right. Yeah. I'm suspicious of that claim that 75% are from the south. People can bandy around figures, and this is very useful as a blackmail or to undermine the campaign. So I'm not certain that the figures are giving me that it's 75%. Who is the person who has done that the data assessment within yesterday and today?
Okay, so let me just explain this. Have you seen the list first, the one that has your name on it?
Why won't I see the list?
Good one. So let me just read out some of the names for you, 33 names. So the Director General, Dr. Donyo Kukwe, is from a southern extraction. The Deputy Director General, Mr. Oselaka Obaze. Just to be clear, those are the names on the list, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's also from southern extraction. And I can go on and on. So essentially, as I said, 25 of them are from the southern extraction.
Well, I don't know. Look, Oselaka, yes, I think he's from the southeast. But some of these names, some of them can be from the middle belt or somewhere. It's not. It can be. I contest that assertion.
So first, is the middle belt southern or northern for you?
I don't know. Look, you are the one who raised that problem. What I'm saying
you said that the middle belt, they could be from the middle belt. So is the middle belt south or the north?
No. I don't know. It could be from the. Listen, as I said, I doubt the authenticity of the fact what you are asserting.
All right. So let me read out the names for you, just to be clear. So I've mentioned to Mr. Denzel Kintebe. He is the Deputy Director General South. Is that the north or south for you?
No.
Okay, good. So we have Chief Damien Okeke Ogene. We have Prince Favor Ruben South. Your name, Mr. Balogu Akion Shutokun. And I can go on and on, but because of time.
No. See. My name comes up where the list of the zonal coordinators are given. So each zone, all the zones in the north and the south, their names are there. So that's where I feature. So it's not.
So which is the question I asked you on the list that your name features, the management team. And I think it's been clear from the scratch, Mr. Oshidoko.
It's not
25
clear.
out of the 33 members are from the southern extraction.
I'm hearing that for the first time. Look,
okay, so is that deliberate, though?
Why will it be deliberate? You know, first, as I said, I doubt the authenticity of what you are telling me.
I just read out those names, and you've not refuted any of them.
No, I did. I did in the fact that my name is listed where you have the list of the zonal coordinators. So by the specification of each zone, you have a person from there. So if somebody from the Northwest, you have a coordinator from the Northwest, who will be from there.
Well, so, you know, the usual mantra for your party is go and confirm. And I'm actually shocked that you're not aware of this because your name is actually...
Look, don't come and start saying things. Look, I don't like this idea of, you know, this gotcha and this kind of... Look, are you ready to take responsibility for the fact that if we go and then we ascertain that 75% are not from the South, are you prepared to take personal responsibility for that?
This is a list that your party released, and you've not refuted it.
I am.
You are
what
refuting
you are implying,
okay, so we can move on from that.
No, listen.
All right.
Listen. First, my name comes where the list of the zonal coordinators are. So, prima facie, you are wrong. Right.
Your name is on that list, Mr. Oshidoko.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm not wrong. Your name is on the management list.
It will come out as a zonal coordinator of the Southwest. The same way you have the coordinator of the Northwest or Northeast. But the more important thing you have said, you have made a claim that 75% of the names are from the South. So I'm now asking you, are you prepared to take personal responsibility?
I'd like for you to present a counterfact.
No. Are you prepared to take personal responsibility?
Please present a counterfact.
I'm telling you that it's wrong.
All right. So you'll present the counterfact because you're not even aware of the full list.
It's not that I'm not aware. Why would I
just so we don't belabor,
well,
I have it right here.
It's
open right here before me. But just so we don't belabor the matter for the time that we don't have. So the goal for this campaign council is to target 15 million votes. Am I right?
15 million votes?
Yes.
Who said that?
That was what Dr. Doyokupe said.
15 million votes.
Okay, just let me backtrack a bit. Are you aware of the events yesterday where Dr. Doyokupe spoke?
Look, listen, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So he spoke about you having 15 million votes in the bag, yes or no?
You had him say that. There's no...
Well, you asked me that, where did I get 15 million from?
Where is the need to confirm that from me? If you had Dr. Okupe said yesterday, why are you asking me to confirm what you had?
Right. So he has said that the goal is 15 million votes, right? So what is a target? How are you planning to achieve that with this group that has been released?
How we're achieving, will I not be a little bit dumb to reveal the strategy?
Let me rephrase. Your manifesto is a way to win votes, and I was hoping that I would have to go that way. Your manifesto is a way to achieve those votes. So what are the things you're selling to Nigerians to get those 15 million votes?
Well, that's what the presidential candidate has been doing all the while. He went all over the world several times here. He was at the ICANN conference yesterday to present him, what he has, to offer, relative to the other candidates. So, it's a breath of fresh air. Look, I like to refer to it, and I've done it before, that it's like Nigeria's Obama moment, right? The sea change. Something that is coming that people did not expect. That what Obama calls the audacity of hope. And it is necessarily, in every era and epoch, championed by the young people, the younger generation. They are the ones who want a change, who look at things from the perspective that the status quo has nothing to offer. The other two candidates that are rivals, they are status quo candidates, and they don't even represent the best of the status quo. So I can imagine, and Obi coming out is is something good that Nigeria should. Look, Obi has become a channel through which the young people, rather than become hopeless, they have found an avenue through which they can channel their frustration, that they now have a genuine option. Before, they were condemned, Nigeria was condemned to the option between PDP and APC. And as I said, even from those two parties, what emerged from those two parties cannot be said. As a matter of fact, wait.
No, we have to wind down because of time.
Wait.
Still tying to that point about young people, we're closing in about 30 seconds, pardon me, because of time. It has been said that your party is also riding on that End SARS movement, essentially channeling all of that energy. Is that the strategy as well?
Well, look, it's not the strategy, it is what is happening, right? We didn't plan End SARS, it was something that occurred. And look, though you are presenting this as if the younger people are people you can lead by the nose.
No, it was just a simple question.
They have their initiative. They are the ones, and in any case, how old are you? The people we are referring to as younger generation, somebody is in his early 40s or 30s, 20, they are not young people. John F. Kennedy, G.F. Kennedy died at 42 or 43. Obama became president at 47. So let us get something clear.
Right.
It's not nobody's. That is the trend.
Okay.
That is trend. The political.
And it was perfect timing for your party.
Exactly. Yes. So,
well, Mr. Oshutokun, it has been quite an interesting conversation with you this evening. Always
sure?
a great one to have you on the program. I mean, you're a friend of the house. I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Akin Oshutokun. He is the coordinator Southwest of Labour Party's presidential campaign management team, council, semantics. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, that's been the program for tonight. Always very interesting discussing Nigerian politics, and we're back tomorrow, so please stay with us. I'm Kaido Kikilu. Good night.